Tabletop RPG. Tabletop RPGs are where the role-playing genre began. Players gather around a table, create characters, and go on adventures guided by a game master who controls the world and its events. Games like Dungeons & Dragons shape the foundation of RPG mechanics, including character stats, leveling, classes, and dice-based outcomes. What makes tabletop RPGs special is freedom. Almost anything a player can imagine can become part of the story. Computer RPG. Computer RPGs, often called CRPGs, brought classic tabletop systems into digital form. Early developers tried to recreate deep role-playing experiences on computers, complete with character sheets, dialogue choices, and party management. These games usually emphasize complex stats, branching quests, and tactical decision-making. They became important because they proved computers could handle massive role-playing systems that would be difficult to manage by hand. Japanese RPG. Japanese RPGs, or JRPGs, developed their own identity during the console boom of the 1980s and 1990s. These games often focus on strong storytelling, memorable characters, and carefully designed progression. Titles like Final Fantasy VII helped define the genre. JRPGs usually guide players through a structured journey, making the narrative just as important as the combat.
Western RPG. Western RPGs evolved mainly from computer-based role-playing traditions in North America and Europe. They often prioritize player choice, open-ended exploration, and role-playing freedom. Instead of following one fixed story, players may shape events through decisions and moral choices. This makes the world feel reactive, as if the player is truly influencing what happens. Action RPG. Action RPGs blend role-playing progression with real-time combat. Rather than waiting for turns, players attack, dodge, and react instantly. Games like Diablo helped popularize this style by combining loot, leveling, and fast combat. The genre became widely loved because it keeps the depth of RPG progression while making every fight feel immediate. Turn-based RPG. Turn-based RPGs organize combat into clear turns, allowing each character or enemy to act one at a time. This creates a slower pace where strategy matters more than reflexes. Players can think carefully about abilities, positioning, and resource management. The format remains popular because it gives combat a thoughtful rhythm and allows complex systems to shine. Tactical RPG. Tactical RPGs add battlefield positioning to traditional role-playing systems. Instead of simply choosing attacks, players move characters across grid-based maps and consider terrain, range, and unit placement. Games in this genre reward careful planning and long-term strategy. Even a single move can completely change the outcome of a battle. Dungeon crawler. Dungeon crawlers focus heavily on exploration, combat, and loot inside dangerous areas such as caves, ruins, or labyrinths. Progress usually involves moving deeper while facing tougher enemies and stronger bosses. These games often create tension through limited resources and hidden threats. Their appeal comes from the constant sense of risk and reward. Roguelike RPG. Roguelike RPGs are built around procedural generation and permanent consequences. Maps, enemies, and rewards often change every run, making each playthrough feel different. If the player dies, progress may reset completely or partially. This structure creates intense decision-making because every choice carries weight. MMORPG. MMORPG stands for Massively Multiplayer Online Role-Playing Game. These games place thousands of players in persistent online worlds where they can quest, trade, battle, and socialize together. World of Warcraft became one of the most influential examples. What makes MMORPGs different is the living world shared by countless players at the same time. Sandbox RPG. Sandbox RPGs give players broad freedom in how they approach the game. Storylines may exist, but players often choose where to go, who to help, and how to build their character. exploration becomes a major part of the experience. The world feels less like a path and more like a place to inhabit. Open World RPG. Open World RPGs combine role-playing systems with large, explorable environments. Players can travel across cities, forests, mountains, and villages with minimal restriction. Side quests, hidden secrets, and optional encounters become just as important as the main story. This genre became increasingly popular as game worlds grew more detailed and immersive. Party-based RPG. Party-based RPGs revolve around controlling a group rather than a single hero. Each member usually has unique skills, strengths, and weaknesses, making team composition important. Players often balance healers, attackers, tanks, and support roles. This adds layers of strategy because success depends on how well the group works together. Monster-Taming RPGs. Monster-Taming RPGs center on collecting, training, and battling creatures. Instead of only improving one character, players build teams of monsters with different strengths and abilities. Pokémon Red and Blue introduced this style to millions of players. The genre stands out because progression comes through both collection and strategy. Soulslike RPG. Soulslike RPGs focus on challenging combat, careful timing, and meaningful progression through difficulty. Players learn enemy patterns, manage stamina, and accept failure as part of mastery. Death often carries consequences, making each encounter tense. These games matter because they turn patience and learning into the core of progression.
Idle RPG. Idle RPGs automate much of the progression while still keeping core RPG systems like leveling, gear, and upgrades. Characters may continue earning resources even when the player is offline. The gameplay centers more on planning upgrades than direct control. Their popularity comes from allowing steady progress with minimal active play. Survival RPG. Survival RPGs merge role-playing mechanics with resource management and harsh environments. Players level up while also dealing with hunger, crafting, shelter, and environmental dangers. Growth feels tied not only to combat, but to staying alive. This makes progression feel grounded in survival itself.